having that sort of foundation of trust is really important. In the classroom, your basic necessity is trust. And from there, you can build off and have like a pretty dynamic, engaging place. We're in this together. We're helping each other out. We're going to support one another. We're going to fail together. We're going to succeed together, that kind of thing. For students to really feel safe and comfortable in a classroom setting, there has to be trust between them and the teacher. And then also with each other as well, because ideally in that classroom setting, they're willing to take risks with one another. It's teaching students how to pick each other up. And the last thing they want to feel like is that they can't take a risk because they're afraid of the social ramifications or something. As teachers, we want to encourage them to take risks and to try new things. If they feel as if we will not support them, then of course I think that's going to limit their willingness and ability to do so. I don't think that there's a super quick solution. I think that there's lots of little solutions that build up over time. I think it's giving them opportunities to try new things without having terrible ramifications, projects that give them ownership and allow them room to grow and to sometimes mess up a little bit, but being there along the way. When students try something new and it doesn't work out, it's praising them for having the courage and the grit, to sort of persevere. And so they all see it too, modeling that for them. I think another way that you create trust is by using group activities and getting them to work together. When there are issues in the classroom, it's talking about it as a group and knowing that the students' perspectives and opinions and feelings are really valued and affirmed. Well, I think changing needs happens, I think you see that with the assignments. You start to see them grow in different areas, and you see the areas they're doing really well, and you see the areas where they might not be succeeding in as well. Look at those different areas. And ideally, projects and assignments aren't just monolithic. They're really looking at a whole litany of skills. If all you're doing is just a sort of single-minded assignment, then you're only seeing that one facet of the student. Whereas if you can incorporate lots of different skills, then you can see what areas the students can grow in. The single most important aspect of that guiding is the consistent feedback. The more times we check in with them, the more that we also build up that trust as well. From there, then they're more likely to be able to take risks, that kind of thing. The way that feedback looks, I think that oftentimes it's meaningful. It's not just numbers. The more narrative style feedback where you're really looking at the big picture can be really helpful. I think long-term assignments are great, but I think there has to be a life preserver at certain points that help us monitor how they're doing. It's all the trappings of immersion, but sometimes just spread out. How do you replicate such an intense experience in a classroom to sort of like funnel into a more specific experience, trying to make that as deep as possible? Like I think of it almost in my head, I think of like a pool of water and you're getting dunked in each class period. Projects and research are a huge part of diving deeper. I think it means giving students opportunities to engage in experiential learning.